Cyril Ramaphosa is a man who's standing against his own people, not only black people, black and white, the middle class. Today, as we speak, the middle class, they are struggling. They are being wiped off. Jobs are being lost. We are losing jobs to China, jobs that, South Africans depended on, and we have been highly taxed. There is no water, and we're not sure about the electricity. So many things, is going wrong in our country. People are depressed. Maybe try to refine that line, because you're never going to win when you say that they were not allowed. Because as a black person, I was not allowed to exist. I was not allowed to get a bursary at UNISA because I was told that I'm a part-timer. We fought for these things. They never fight for anything. Nobody's going to give you freedom. Freedom is something that you take. We don't have a problem of housing in this country. If you can remove all these foreigners out of Hillbrow, you go to Killarney, you go everywhere, you go to Northwest, you go to Cape Town, you go to Musina, you can house our people. You go to Regent's Park, you go to Kempton Park. Our people don't have a shortage of houses. It irritates me. There are certain things that they trigger me. Let me say this. As a comrade in high school, they love money. They love money.
Why are you asking a man?
And I'll tell you this, that Batandi Mali, South African women, they can stick with the Godzilla, with the gorilla, as long as the money is right. They are one of our own, and say, remember guys, and then we allow them the leeway. After we've given them the leeway, they overreach. They go on and on and on and on up to infinite. That's a problem that I have with gays. But as individuals, I don't have a problem when people, they do number one, number two, check box in their private rooms and whatever. I don't have a problem with that. This is Ike one more time with life with Ike Khumalo. It's other today. I'm not at my best, but I am at my best, and I'm thinking good. This episode is gonna be from me to you. If it's not one of my best, it's gonna be the best episode that I'm gonna ever deliver to you, because I'm bloody angry. I haven't been paid since January, and there are people who are owing me a lot of money, black attorneys. But anyway, yeah, as you normally say, which away, and we are here. My nephew is advising that I shouldn't be here because he likes accessories, books. He likes me to stand next to a Ferrari so that I can prove that I'm Ike. I am Ike Khumalo. I know myself. I don't need materials like these guys from the villages. When they approach girls, they need to show girls cars. I'm not that guy. Probably maybe it's the age difference. But when you get to my age, you don't worry about the suburb that you live in. I've lived in all suburbs. I've lived in Houghton. I've lived in Bokap. I've lived in Rivonia. And when it's bad, I go back to Soweto in the backyard and I approach decent women, beautiful women, models, and I tell them who I am. I tell them that in the moment, I'm still struggling, and they come to Soweto. I remember there was one white lady that I dated. Her car broke down. I convinced her to take a taxi from Bree Street to Soweto. So I don't worry about those things. But yeah, I am today, and there's so many things to cover. There's so many things happening, and I want to touch a couple of things. But one of the issues that I think that I need to touch, most people, they will call me a house Negro, but the issue of the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Reason why Charlie Kirk issue is very central to e-democracy, is very central to freedom of speech, and I'm surprised because it is the liberals who are celebrating his death. This is the man with the mic. This is the man who was not carrying AK-47s, threatening people. He was shot in front of everyone, his family looking, and people celebrating his death. And I feel good. It is in bad taste that a man can be killed in that manner when he has not done anything wrong besides advancing his political views. I like different people. I would go a long way with someone who disagrees with me, even if I don't like it. Hence, guys like Steve Hofmeyer, I love Steve Hofmeyer. I agree with him. Somewhere I don't agree with him. But for a person to be, eliminated like that is quite sad. I used to listen to Terre Blanche, and I loved Terre Blanche for one good reason. He loved his people. Charlie Kirk loved his people. Even if your aspirations are against me, I admire people who love their own people. Hence, people like Donald Trump, I admire them. I remember 2020 telling one American guy that they're gonna miss Donald Trump because Donald Trump was their hero. He was talking on immigration, companies coming back to America. Even now, he's talking about tariffs. Yes, he's a businessman. Yes, he'll benefit here and there. But, in the larger scale, he's fighting to make America great. And when America is great, who's benefiting? Of course, the corporate. Of course, the citizens. The same way as, sorry, Queen Elizabeth. She fought for British citizens. She fought for her country. And people living in Britain at that time, they were living better. And today we've got so many problems. Problems of immigration, the globalists, they want to terminate borders. The globalists, they want to govern us all. It's a new world order where we'll be indebted to a few billionaires, if not trillionaires. And guys like Bokek, they were pushing against such an order. He was pushing against the Israel influence. He was pushing against the globalists, the alphabet community. And for a man to be killed that way, for people to celebrate, and I know most people, especially blacks, they will say, no, he spoke against George Floyd. I also have a problem with George Floyd. His killing maybe is unfortunate, but I have a problem with us black people because we celebrate scumbags. Most of the time, we celebrate scumbags. George Floyd was a drug addict. At some point, he beat up a pregnant woman. But we elevate those people. The black people, they elevate thuggery in the main. Hence, I always maintain that the slutty behavior, people who are promiscuous, we give them television shows. We celebrate them like they are heroes. And what are we saying to a child at school? What are we saying to a person who's well behaved? Yeah, it was.
You were just saying that people are celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, right?
Yes.
Not not so long ago, you've also said the same thing about the South African politicians, that if one of them was to die today, you'd celebrate it, or that even people celebrate it these days because of what the politicians are doing. So it's more or less the same. I don't understand why
It's
now.
not the same.
How is it
What I
not?
said is that in that video, I hope you mentioned the video where I spoke about Cyril Ramaphosa when I said, if Cyril Ramaphosa died today, the devil will declare a public holiday and a day off because he'll be heartbroken. He'll be so heartbroken because Cyril Ramaphosa is a man who's standing against his own people, not only black people, black and white, the middle class. Today, as we speak, the middle class, they are struggling. They are being wiped off. Jobs are being lost. We are losing jobs to China, jobs that, South Africans depended war and we have been highly taxed. There is no water and we're not sure about the electricity. So many things, is going wrong in our country. People are depressed. Charlie, he had people of authority listening to him, the same way as that Ned called Elon Musk, who misused his opportunity. When he had the opportunity to influence Trump, he started to antagonize Trump, which I disagreed with that. Charlie, he was Donald's friend. Most people of influence, they were listening to him. Even now, some European governments, they're observing a moment of silence because they recognize that the guy, you know, he had to exercise his freedom of speech and he was speaking against the tyranny that we are seeing today, the status quo that is torturing all of us. And when it comes to Cyril Ramaphosa, all these ANC guys, I remember very well, I said one day these ANC ministers, these politicians in South Africa, be it EFF, DA, there's going to be a day whenever we hear rest in peace, people are going to celebrate because they have no recourse. They can't even rise against them. So that's what I've said. But for people to go, and make videos taking into account that the man has got family, and say he was evil, say all those things that he deserved it, to me it's far-fetched. What I have done in my case, whenever an ANC guy would die, there will be stories, lies told, like Tito Mboweni, but Jackson Mthembu, many of them. We will be told that he was a good man, and it will trigger some of us. I'm saying, you know what? I don't speak ill of the dead, but you must set the record straight. These are guys who indebted us, or who allowed us to be indebted. These are guys who subjected us to the IMFs of this world, who subjected us to slavery. That's what I was trying to say. But I don't make excuses or say it in any other way when I'm saying, in the hierarchy of dictators that have ever lived, Cyril Ramaphosa is number one. Is number one. All other dictators, maybe Ngbaziyo mina, at least they had something for their own people. Even if you go to Germany, their point of departure is my people are suffering. Donald Trump, people say he's a dictator. I don't think so. He says my people. And he does something about that. Unlike this nincompoop from Shawel. With me, and I also identify with the guy, because if I were to die today in this country, there will be a celebration, especially black women. They will wear white dresses in celebration.
I don't think so, right?
Yeah, I'm telling you. These ones, they're more evil than the devil themselves. Charlie Kirk was not an evil guy. This is a guy with a mic who said his opinion. Whether I condone it or not,
yes.
But South African politicians, they have power. Not only do they have power, they take people's livelihood. They take people's future. Unlike this guy in America who didn't have so much power beside the mic. He had influence. Whether, it will be, leading to him, changing legislation, that's another debate. But these ones, they literally steal. If you steal money from Tembisa Hospital, patients are going to be lacking medication. Staff not going to be paid service. If you steal money in the Department of Police, you give your comrades tenders and Julie, you are affecting a policing. You are affecting those who depend on policing.
That was my point in the beginning.
Yeah,
I said that.
I'm saying people in America, they are celebrating his death. This is a man who was exercising his freedom of speech. Yeah. And I said in South Africa, there's going to be a time where South Africans, they celebrate the demise of politicians, like in Nepal, because they have no other recourse. Whether it's good or bad, I'll leave it to the people. But there's going to be a time, the same way, maybe if you can bring our comparisons, someday you'll hear about the president. He has suffered a stroke, and people will be dancing in the streets because they will be saying, you know what, Yahamba Inja. Because actually, that's what happened during apartheid. I remember as a kid, in the 70s, I think, or 80s, I can't remember clearly, uHlubi had died. We were children. We were singing. Hlubi ushwile njaya maburu. Hlubi was a black police officer who killed many students, 1976. When Foster died, abantu abamnyama ba-celebrate. I'm sure when Ubota ashona, abantu ba-celebrate. But I'm saying, you look at Charlie Kirk, okay, maybe people must celebrate, but no, it's fine if they want to celebrate that, but I'm looking at the people who celebrate, the alphabet community, people who believe Gucci, they are not she, he, they call themselves die, them, so it's fine, if they want to, but for me, a person...
It's not only those ones that are celebrating.
Yeah, even the Democrats, the liberals, they have brought us where we are, even in South Africa. These are evil people. These are people, the liberals. Most people, they are confused by the term liberals and then liberty. But the liberals were there, even during apartheid struggle. These are people who brought in even Naboma Freedom Charter. They smile in your face and they stab you. Over. Those are liberals. These liberals, they've got these policies that are satanic. Policies that took God out of our public schools. Policies that are against human nature. Those are liberals. But for me, I listen to everyone, and even a guy like Steve Biko, I don't agree with him all the time, but I hear him. Even Terre Blanche, Feljun, Constantin Feljun, General. I could hear because this is a man who loved his people. I have no problem with a patriot. But we are in a world now where patriotism is being destroyed by all these liberals who are saying free borders, open for the devil. In the near future, we're going to experience the same in South Africa. We won't be able to stand for anything. We won't be able to rise because a patriot is being killed. A genuine South African is being killed. We are being diluted deliberately. And Charlie Kirk was talking about things like that, where Venezuelan gangs are going to America, where people are celebrating, in Chicago. Donald Trump wants to stop the nonsense. People killing each other. They say no. So the guy was standing against that, even if I disagree with him.
But with the alphabet community, I honestly don't get it, right?
You may not get it. It's fine. Let's debate it then.
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong that they're doing.
It's fine. I don't have a problem.
So,
because I know that I don't have a problem with alphabet community as individuals. I have a problem with the alphabet community as a movement. Because as a movement, they contribute zero, bogorol, in the collective. The alphabet community, these are people who come after the fact and say, remember me, guys, I've got the right to be. When we fought, after we have fought for liberation, they come after the fact. In my liberation, during my days, as a younger person, even now, there are issues that are affecting me as a person, be it drug addiction in communities, lack of opportunities, lack of jobs, crime. I don't see gay movements. Maybe as individuals they participate, but I can tell you there are women groups who are not only speaking on women issues. There's a church movement that was there even during apartheid. They did not only speak on Jesus. They spoke about issues that are affecting the community as a whole. Jesus Christ talked the language of the people. He tackled the issues that were affecting people daily. He did not say, oh, I'm holy, you can go starve. He solved problems. When a woman of bad reputation was about to be killed, he intervened. When he saw the blind, he intervened. Where is the intervention of gays? Where is the intervention? Yes, I'm trying to... Gay people, the only time they speak on I, myself. They don't speak on issues that are affecting us all as a community. Are they not going to school? Are they not affected by load shedding? The only time they come after the fact and say, oh guys, we need rights. If you're going to contest in this franchise and say, you know what, I'm also there as a group, then also fight. Nathi Masilwa Ibakho, Steve Biko said, if white communities, they want to join the black struggle, let them struggle where they are. Convince each other. Ukuthi yazini labantu laba manje siyabakhawatha sicela ukuthi mfethu nathi sibe responsible. Where is the gay participation? As an individual, I don't have a problem with Somizi. I've known Somizi asesemncane, but each time these guys, whenever you hear them, it's about their marches where they are nude. It's nudity. That one they do best. They can challenge me on that. Alcohol, sex. Each time you see gays who are prominent, they're talking nudity, sex, drugs, and nomjaivo. I can into constructive, but I can show you abo mama basewesel. I can show you amadodana nasewesel. I can show you movements like abo. There's a movement I forgot, Qibla, which participated. They did not only spoke on Mahomet and the Quran, they spoke on liberation. They spoke on freedom of movement. Where is the gay participation? I have a problem with that. If you're not going to talk about issues that are affecting us, when no, I'm gay, it's not my issue, then you must shut up on issues that matter. And the next thing you want to tell us how to raise our children. Again, your lifestyle doesn't allow you to have a child. So you must shut up. You must shut up, never tell us anything because your lifestyle doesn't allow you to have a child. You're a man and a man. So that is the problem that I have with gay communities. But other than that, for me, I know for a fact, maybe try to refine that line because you're never going to win when you say that they were not allowed. Because as a black person, I was not allowed to exist. I was not allowed to get a bursary at UNISA because I was told that I'm a part-timer. We fought for these things. They never fight for anything. Nobody's going to give you freedom. Freedom is something that you take. You take freedom. When is it that where gay people took something? They take from us. They leave the oppressor there. They let us fight. They let us die. They let us be tear gas June 16, 1960. They let us die in Butipatong. And then they come after the fact because they know that, you know what, they are one of our own, and say, remember guys, and then we allow them the leeway. After we've given them the leeway, but they overreach. They go on and on and on and on up to infinite. That's a problem that I have with gays. But as individuals, I don't have a problem when people, they do number one, number two, check box in their private rooms and whatever. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with people if they're polygamous. I don't have a problem if people change their surnames. I don't have a problem. But I have a problem when they come into my world and want to change my world. Gay people, they've got the audacity to go to the house of Christ. They go to churches and then want to change the scriptures. Because if you join a Christian church, you abide yourself by the rules. You cannot tell people, which you know what, as from today, there is he, she, we are all the same. The Bible is clear. Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed because of that. And whenever you want to be angry, which you know, the Bible is preach against homosexuality. Leave them. And when you say that I pick and choose in the Bible, I'm too intelligent. I'm too emotionally intelligent. I'm wise. I cannot confine myself to the Bible only when I make my argument. I go beyond that. But I'm simply making my examples. I cannot quote the whole world. Otherwise, we'll be here until noon, next week. If I'm quoting the book of Zachariah, I'm quoting Cheikanta Diop, I'm quoting this for this particular point of time so that I can conclude. When I'm saying gay people, they can walk into a church, that's the point that I was trying to make. They try to make everyone to abide by their own constitution, even on bodies that don't allow. I have a problem with that. If people are saying they are Afrikaners, they are here to push the culture of Afrikaners. It's either I join them, I push that culture, or I disassociate. They fail to do the simple thing, which, you know what, the Christian church doesn't cover us. Let us go start our own thing. That's what I'm trying to say. The alphabet community, I have a problem now because they don't participate on issues that are affecting us as a collective and where they also benefit. It's like we're at work. We are striking with we need a minimum wage. We need working conditions that are fine. And then when you go, we're humble. And then 2 weeks later you come and you want to claim those rights. Okay, fine, you claim those rights. But now you want to overextend your influence. That's a problem that I have. Don't be an opportunist. And this thing, I don't know, you mentioned something about women. That's why I lose you if the question is too long. I wanted to attend to that. But I have a problem with that. So people must participate in their own liberation. They cannot come later and tell us how this thing must be driven. If I'm fixing a car, I'll fix it for myself. And then when I figure, this car is not going to Durban, it's going to Johannesburg. That's the problem that I have. Look at all the influential gays. When you ask who was influential during apartheid, they'll say Simon. Simon was not fighting as a gay man. All of these gays who are influential, even superstars on top, very few who are conscious, like Nina Simeon, like Miriam Makeba. Very few. All of them is about drugs. It's about sex. But Freddie Mercury, maybe they're even better, because I know there are some artists in Britain who in a collective against apartheid. But even here in South Africa, show me a gay person. We've got a soldier here. In the level, that was Steve of Mayor.
Yeah, but that's the thing, they're just not famous, right? And that's why you see the movement, right?
The fact that they're not famous, it means that they're not there. Or maybe they're there.
No, not really. Not when you...
I am known. People know me from back in the days, not because I said, I want to be famous, because of your actions. Your actions will follow you. And the spotlight, even if they dim you.
You put yourself out.
No, even if they dim you, even if they dim the spotlight. No, I never said to people, cover me. Wherever I go, people cover me.
You put yourself out.
No, I was always active from childhood, even at school, and people knew me. They did not know me because of the era of social media. I was not made by social media, Mina. No, I was not made by social media. What I'm trying to say, when I joined the arts, I asked, where is the union that is fighting for the rights of the artists? Because Mahlatini has just died. You cannot have another Mahlatini. I found Abu Ken Camp. We changed industry. Government standard contract. All the black directors that came 1994 and post. It is us. Abo Silomake, Bo Tumandlovu, all these productions, they came because of us. But generation, we used to go there fighting for these people. Some of them, they denied us opportunities. So I fought, even at school. When I arrived at school and I asked about why are my conditions right? I meet students by SASCO. I was not SASCO. I was coming from another organization, but no, people don't have bursaries here. We don't have tutors, UNISA. They are full-time students. So I UCT. We even went to UCT. We fought Mampele Rampele when she was a vice chancellor. Students are financially excluded. We went to VET. I was not a VET student, but we went there. Beyond our scope. Gay people, they don't go beyond their scope besides sex. The only thing that they know is sex, alcohol, and drugs. I don't see them. The fact that I don't see them, it means they don't exist. So that's the problem that I have. Maybe you chose to be their spokesperson, but I'm yet to lose this debate. Gay people don't exist as a movement elsewhere on all other issues that are affecting us as a people. The only time they exist is after the fact and say, guys, I've got a right to be. Remember me, I'm out of the closet. They come out of the closet after we've won. I don't see gay people, Mina. During 1916 or 1976, 1652, Buipatong massacre, Bisho massacre, Katlehong massacre. They're not there. The only thing, this guy Ike, the very same case. They pushed for my cancellation in the arts. I was in the arts fighting for other artists. I was well looked after. I was working with Supermodel. I was one of the top guys. I was a prominent actor. Is this the very same gay people? Abanye abalapho as individuals. Because I was fighting for others. But you're done. And some of them, they wanted to sleep with us. They were pushing for their own people. I'm listening.
Topic?
The next topic that I wanted to talk about, I was still on that. I'm a liberals, but I will move to if another situation as in Nepal. I've spoken extensively on issues in Nepal. I've condemned South Africans because South Africans, they like to sit behind social media. Baba my Twitter, whereas I was not made by tweet. I was always active, and hence, Ngaboma 2015, I decided, let me echo my voice. But I was always on the ground. When you call them, guys, there's an issue of immigration. We are being overthrown. This is a Trojan horse. They will sit at home, watch the struggle on Twitter, watch the struggle on social media, on Instagram. When people are coming here, our country doesn't have borders. We called a march 19 something, 2020. I don't like marches. Because marches, they can be useless. We are going to the Nigerian embassy. Sometimes marches are good just to mobilize. But we must go beyond marches. We must go beyond our placards. I suggested in these movements, it's fine about Tutula, put South Africa first. Let us come up with court actions like AfroForum. And I was not talking something in Ngayas. When Outer was challenged, they took my argument as it is and they even flooded it. Outer, because I was interviewed on 702 at that time. This issue is violating freedom of movement. There's differentiations of provinces. There is no equality. We have been triple taxed for the same thing, which is unfair. Outer took that argument because I was being interviewed. They went and fought. They won the first leg. They lost later. And I asked them, would guys involve me? Because I could see they were arguing it wrongly. I've been active. I was saying, let us sue this government. Let us sue Pegicele. If the police are not doing their jobs, the Minister of Home Affairs, the Minister of Health, if people can come from Zambia today and then seek medication or medical attention without these people being apprehended, because these guys, they are assisting criminals. Let us sue them. If your loved one has been killed by an illegal foreigner who's not supposed to be here, sue the Minister of Police. And even brought lawyers. In one organization, but the South Africa First, I brought even 4 attorneys, 2 advocates. When the matter was before the court, they wanted to withdraw because they want to march. South Africans want to sing. Some of them saying, but can we really fight our comrades? Even in the arts. We used to fight about 2010. There were 2 groups that were included. Guma kickoff concert, Naguma Fan Park 2010. We fought. Not even a thank you. All these guys who came, Bob Big Nas, all these guys, it's because of our efforts. People participated. I was always active. But I've realized that you cannot save black people because they like victimhood. They like worshipping the very same people who are oppressing us. Because why? They think that they are next in line. So therefore, don't destabilize the ANC. The ANC is renewing itself and hoping ukuthi once they renew themselves, I'll be next in line. That's the mentality of abantu abamnyama. Hence, people were talking about Arab Springs. We'll never see Arab Spring here. Igcine ngathi that generation, but in Gen Z, igcine ngathi because these ones idla manyawupe. These ones, they only know dance challenges, and some who are older than me, they in stadiums concern about private soccer teams. And I can tell you, even during apartheid, there were few of us. I keep on repeating this line because there's this, notion that black people fought against apartheid. No, many of them, they were spies. They were working against us. Out of maybe a community, maybe 500,000, you'll find that there are 20 people who were fighting for the government of the day. They joined us when Mandela magaphume jail. When Mandela was released, everybody became a comrade. So that's the problem we find ourselves. But the question South Africans, they need to ask themselves, where to from now? And formulate answers. I mean, look at the people of Sri Lanka. They took matters into their own hands. Look at people of Nepal. I love them. I love abantu base Nepal because they were hard-fought. And the situation as in Nepal, it's not different than us. It is even worse. 60% of the youth, they are not working. Like I said earlier, the middle class has been wiped out because in a failed state, you don't have a middle class. You have the super rich and the poor. And the rest of the population, when they are poor, they need hope. They go to fake pastors. They scramble for everything, but no main, sebenzele no main. That's what the globalists want. They want a situation with more. I'm a production manager. I deserve this amount of money. There's somebody who comes from Kenya and says, give me less. They want a race to the bottom. That's why they're talking with the relax your labor laws, open your borders, like it happened in Nigeria, like it's happening in China. In Nigeria, ShopRite advertised 400 jobs, 5 million people applied. What rights do you have? In China, they tell you it's a sweatshop. That's why you cannot compete with China. They want that to go and produce in China or produce all over the world cheaper, like in Indonesia, like it happened during apartheid. That's why some of the jobs we still retained because they knew they could depend on slave payments. And that's not sustainable. We've seen it. Nama farmers, amaning, and some of the employers employing illegal foreigners because they are cheaper. What do? These guys? They come back, they give their friends tip-offs, they kidnap us. Kuma farms, they are killing our missus, they are killing farmers. And the South African farmers, they surprise me, especially the white community, because they've seen it in Kenya during the Mau Mau. They've seen these guys, 1980, in Zimbabwe, killing them, and they follow them here. 2001, in Mozambique, the Portuguese were expelled that side. But mabangapha bayabaqasha futhi. Just because of our history, like South Africa, between black and white. And some people think, no, all darkies, they vote for the ANC. Why reward them? And then they're going to take these guys, again, because abanye they are cheaper. Bafuna noma yini. Mama Roslyn, we don't have a problem of housing in this country. Check all our cities. East of Joburg, taken over by people who were never there. Thina bomama bethu bebasebenza emakhishini. Lezo zindlu lezo sesithathwa abanye abantu bebabizwa abogela. They used to be domestic workers. These houses taken over by other people. West of Joburg, go to Pretoria, Germiston, Roodepoort. I'm talking about Johannesburg Metro. You go to Northwest, the same. You go to PE, the same. You go to Cape Town, the same. Did we struggle for foreigners? And then they're going to tell you good to know, what about white people? Because they like whataboutism. If my child has been kidnapped by a Nigerian, I'm not going to go look for fair food. I'm not going to go look for someone who did not commit a crime. It is Zimbabweans. If they come here, they murder me. Who's the culprit? That's the problem that we find ourselves. Today, you've got human rights commission. I told South Africans, including clever blacks, I said, these guys, when they come here, they grow. They can take these jobs that are small, but they grow. Their children grow. They're going to develop aspirations, ambitions. They want what you want. They come, they go to your clinics. They go to universities. All universities have been taken over. In vets, Zimbabwean lecturers, they were abusing students. Pass mark for sex. Culture that we don't know, Tina, in South Africa. In UJ, it's them. UCT, it's them. It's like there's this conspiracy. Some of vice chancellors, UNISA, the vice chancellor is from Lesotho, everywhere. Human rights. I saw that, man. These guys, they come to universities. They do these soft degrees like human rights, fundamental rights. And from there, while they're still at varsity, they join these UNESCO groups, United Nations student groups, and then they model themselves. And later on, they join our Chapter 9 institutions. There was one from Zimbabwe who was a deputy, Gatulima Donsela, public protector. That guy, he joined the Communist Party. I remember fighting him again at Multi-Choice, fighting for the rights of the actors. He was also there. The ANC has sold this country. Net DA, they believe in that. Globalization. Musima Imane believes in that. EFF believes in that. Who else now is going to fight for South African people? I'm the king of xenophobia because I say these things that Charlie Kirk was saying. Wherever I go, people, they look at me. Which, here's this dog. Wherever I go, I can feel their hatred on my clothes, but it doesn't disturb me. You know, that's what is happening. And South Africans, they must wake up because tomorrow they will have no country. So long as you don't solve the issue of a foreigner. I keep on saying that because...
But while still on that, right? Because of I want to speak about the 7 Chinese guys who trafficked the Malawians for forced labor. What do you think of that?
But what do you think from these guys? I'm a foreigner. They never loved us. I don't expect anything better because it is them who bring fake products. It is them who bring cheaper goods. It is them who've killed our industries. And the ANC government know about these people because I'm told with these guys, they used to pay bribery, 200,000 each time these guys show up. This time they refused to pay bribery. Then they were arrested. Our people don't love this country. Our people in government, civil servants, they don't love this country. Today you find Zimbabweans working in the city of Joburg. The other day I was fighting Zimbabweans because I skipped a few payments. The Zimbabweans, they came to close my water. People who don't have water where they come from. Zimbabweans, how do you employ Zimbabweans? How do you employ foreigners? Go SAPS. Those are critical jobs. Even if you go to the Labor Relations Act, these jobs are essential jobs. How do you give these people to become human rights? How do you give a foreigner to become a statistician general, to become, all those jobs? They have Nigerians. In the army, there was another guy, do you know how angry I was? When I bump into this guy in Joburg, he says South Africa is nice. He's a general in the army. I don't know where. He said top position. I don't know their rankings. But he's not a foot soldier. His name is Jeff. I doubt with Nekamalako Jeff. I doubt because they call themselves over here. Then you realize that it's good is Okoka Ukondungu. In the army, in the police. And today we are told that the security companies, they are more equipped than police, they are mania than police. All of them Zimbabweans. Baskatile, Zimbabweans. Are we safe in that country? When we are in Zimbabwe and occupy those jobs, if you drive your car, you go to Zimbabwe, you'll be told that your car doesn't have stickers for, highlighter. Doesn't have a car radio license. You will pay bribery. You need 10,000 to give to the soldiers in Lilane because they see a GP registration. They see a South African registration. I mean, these guys, they take our cars to Mozambique. Umbalula, say Deputy Minister of Police. What say Mozambique, Kerile. Why can't they sanction in Mozambique? They have a leverage over in Mozambique to say, no, guys, if you don't bring those cars, if you don't allow us to come in there, we will deny you ABC. So it is South Africans against the world. The only neighbors that don't give us problem is Botswana. Oh God, those are peaceful neighbors. We must thank the Lord for those. These others, even Swaziland, they're giving us problems. Lesotho, illegal mining, they're shooting. Go Rivalila Paya, go Middlelands. And I said it earlier, ukuthi these mines that are closed, our people can mine in small scale long before bafaka abo-18 Mackenzie nabo Kenny. That's where they make their money. That's where they made their money, because ANC gave them the licenses to mine there. And then what? After that, they buy cars, they brag, sushi kings and stuff. So that's where we find ourselves.
Because you also spoke about the housing and whatnot.
We don't have a problem of housing in this country. If you can remove all these foreigners out of Hillbrow, you go to Killarney, you go everywhere, you go to Northwest, you go to Cape Town, you go to Musina, you can house our people, you go to Regent's Park, you go to Kempton Park. Our people don't have a shortage of houses.
But I'm talking about the informal settlement, because they've already started.
That's nonsense, because all the informal settlements that are being erected today, these are not South Africans.
But when they were going around, right, because they can't just evict all of these people or just remove them from those informal areas, so they have to ask first. So some of them are South Africans, and there's also South Africans that are actually renting out to other South Africans and foreigners in these informal settlements.
Mina, if I was the minister having powers, I would take out all the foreigners. If I found a South African renting to this guy, I'll punish him. I will punish him, because if you're looking for an RDP or whatever, and then you don't occupying it, you're making business, you're accommodating these guys who came here illegal, you are also a participant in crime. The same way as our hospitals, our schools. When they allow these guys to come in, unfortunately, Yopanyaza Lusufi was preaching, celebrating the Pillar Act. The very same Pillar Act that says people can come here without papers and register their illegal children. But when I, as a South African, you must come up with a lengthy documentation from here to Israel to prove that, you are legitimately here. You are in the neighborhood legitimately. But a child who came here illegally can just walk in without papers, without an ID, without a certificate. It's like we are fighting for foreigners. Steve Biko fought and died for foreigners. Tsetse Mashinini died for foreigners. No, when the Freedom Charter, which is a sellout document, when it said everyone, it didn't mean everyone. It meant everyone, like South Africa, coloreds, Indians, whites and blacks. It did not anticipate that somebody can come here illegally and then you give that person right. Immigration Act is clear. When you come here, you jump into somebody's country, you are illegal. Therefore, no rights must accrue to you. No, you are illegal, but you must be given a house. What nonsense is that? There's a contradiction there. When you say you're coming here, you're illegal, you must be deported. All of a sudden, you're not deported, you're given a right, you must be attended. No. The least that they could do, maybe if somebody tries to say motto, emergency. After that, you have been stabilized. Ship you out. You go to Zimbabwe. They won't give you a panado. They won't even give you a bandage. They'll say, go back. There's a patient who has never attended. He was in Zimbabwe. He's a South African, but he's in Zimbabwe. He had to call South Africans. But we are soft because we are nursing Cyril Ramaphosa's interest in DRC, Jacob Zuma's interest all over. They went in there, they were given mines when they were taking our army, pretending they are supporting peace initiatives. These dictators like Abu Kabila gave them mines. But Nigeria, investing, we are dying because Cyril Ramaphosa has got MTN. Therefore, when you complain, decide, Nigerians, they're not helping us. Of which now we're not benefiting. I'm not benefiting from MTN Nigeria. It is them who are benefiting from ShopRite. It is them who are employed. And a few politicians. So these guys must go. We are not benefiting anything. We are dying because of that. Our soldiers are there to guard private interests. Some of them, they're coming back pregnant. You don't know who's been impregnating them because they were captured by rebels. What if they were raped by these rebels? Because nobody's saying anything. Even if the minister is not answering, our soldiers came back pregnant. The last time we heard, they were, surrounded. Their phones seized, guns seized. Camp, they had to ask for a passage. Kagame was bragging, which gave them a leeway. And we know rape, it's a weapon that is used in war. They came back pregnant, female soldiers. And in Akwana Futmina, sometimes, I normally say that if you are a man, your wife is a soldier. If I was a man, my wife is a soldier, I will cry to the Lord. I will curse the Lord and say, you know what? You've destroyed me. Because I know that I would have failed as a man if I've got a wife who's a soldier, who's away from home for my 3 months, 4 months, because they sleep with each other, Nabuma General, or they can be captured. And South African women are beautiful. Soldiers are beautiful. Abafana laba baseZimbabwe abanganama-calves, abanayibunu, abananix. Umuntu wakhona ngathi indoda. And once I say good South African women are beautiful because they often variate. Unlike other nationalities, Ethiopian women are beautiful, but they all look the same. If you've seen one, you've seen all. Cape Verde, you see one, you've seen all.
On South African women being beautiful and various, right? Why, you see, for you to date an Ethiopian woman or a Somalian woman, the first thing they'll tell you is, we do not date lower than us. You know, I'm making an exception here, but I can't be seen with you in public. Other Somalians will, you know. But us as South African ladies don't have that. We'll say, hey, I'm not gonna do
They love money. They love money.
Is it because they poor?
They love money.
Why are you asking a man?
And I'll tell you this, that Batandi Mali, South African women, they can sleep with a Godzilla, with a gorilla, as long as the money is right. And these guys, Aboma Ethiopia, remember, they don't see themselves as blacks. And uhlalo go to kuma dynamics wethu, even here in South Africa. I'm known for dating most colored women. Colored guys don't like it. I dated one lady. She said, you know what, Ike? Another colored guy came to me. He said, I almost mentioned the name. He said, we don't like it. We as colored guys, when we see our women, especially if they're beautiful, dating black guys.
I can attest to that.
Even Indians. I've been fancied by beautiful Indian. I dated another one in Pretoria. She was ashamed to be with me, or scared rather. You know, we're dating like I'm a secret lover, because if other Indian guys, they can see her, they will isolate her. That's what happens, because people believe in hierarchy. I mean, I go nowhere. I'm lower to nobody. I mean, now we are in American. That's why most people, you look American. I don't look Americans. Americans, they look like us because they came here and they're Nigerians. You know, whether you put a white of the whitest, the Chinese, I'm inferior to no one, Mina. Yes.
Yeah, I wanted to take it back because I heard you mention Steve Biko, right?
Yes.
So the inquest into his death is being reopened to determine whether there was a criminal conduct involved or whatnot, right? What do you think is only happening now? Is it for justice, accountability, or just politics playing around?
For me, it's futile exercise, because probably the people who killed him, I doubt if they're still alive. If they are probably old, if they can stand trial. There are certain things that you already know the answer. We know it is the system that killed him. I mean, I remember Mzwakhe Mbuli, post 2018-15, he wrote a so-called poem. I say a so-called poem because he normally writes a list of grievances, disguised as poems or memorandums, asking who killed Sikhukhune. We know who killed Sikhukhune. I mean, those questions, they don't take us anywhere. What we need to do now is to move forward as a nation. We must copy China. How did they escape poverty? Germany, Japan. You can do an inquest, it will make lawyers like me rich, and then we talk about it, and then what? It's like I'm a commission of inquiry. And these inquests, for me, it's fun. I'm a commission of inquiry. If there's evidence, the police must arrest. Why do you duplicate the process? I'm an inquest, I'm unnecessary. I like Stephen Biko, but if there's evidence, let the police arrest. Are there no people who can investigate? I love Tsetse Mashinini. And Tsetse Mashinini, they say, was killed in Nigeria. He was killed. He was bleeding. He was killed in a foreign country. Tsetse Mashinini, a man who was so peaceful, he was killed by the very same so-called African brothers. So-called African brothers, they shot 16 PAC members in Uganda because they were protesting. The living conditions in camp, they're not nice. The Ugandan soldiers, they shot them. South African Politicians don't talk about that, including the PAC. ANC took students to Nigeria, about 16 or lesser, or 10. I can't remember the number. To Nigeria during the exile days. The whole of Nigeria erupted with protests, but no, these guys are here to steal our wives. One of them was Port Esite Buswe. They don't talk about those things, the ill treatment that they face. They talk as if it's glorious. Good day, we are all African brothers. These are not Thomas Sankara, people who are coming here. They are coming here to take. They're destroying our infrastructure. They are spiking our roads. They are raping. Everything that they do. They hate us. And the people who are married to these people, if your partner is a foreigner, he'll be very happy if we were to disappear, all of us here. But to tell good, that's why you cannot even criticize foreigners in his presence. You rather call me xenophobic. You rather call Tutula xenophobic. Because Tutula is saying no. Let people come here, but they must come here legally. They cannot just come and take over this country. It is wrong. That's why in South Africa we don't have problems. The squatter camps are manje. These guys, they are next to the freeways. Go to Power Park, on the mountains, lucrative areas where they can even spike the road. And they have no mercy. They hate us with passion. And Tina Sloga said, no, African unity. Why can't they unite in Bujumbura? Why can't they unite in Gambia? They come to unite here. They should unite in Ghana. They killed all those people who were talking about unity. Bosankara, nowhere. Lumumba, all these people who are saying, let us unite. And then they come here and they're probably looking at us. But look at Julius Malema. Look at this fool who's pushing the globalist interest like he did during COVID, that we want a vaccine. And his minions, they somersault with him. Because South Africans, sometimes they've surrendered their power of thinking. It's like a South African who goes to a foreign church. And a South African woman who sleeps with a foreigner. You allow yourself to be imprinted with these guys. How low can it be? All other people, they protect themselves. Like we've been saying, other nationalities, they protect their women. Like now, we've seen the Constitutional Court saying men can now take their wives' surnames. Guess what's going to happen? The Nigerians, they're going to take South African ladies' surnames because they have no pride. You'll see somebody, Okandungu Ndlovu. It doesn't look like us. He's not one of us. He cannot speak any of the African languages just because he wants to be a South African.
Why do South African women not realize or have pride? Is it because South African men don't get the money?
No. I will tell you this. The problem, it started by South African men.
Not giving money?
No. They are the ones who allow these things to happen, because if South African men exercise caution, did something about that, these guys will not come here. If South African men took care of their borders instead of talking about woke Pan-Africanism, even the courts, it is mainly men in courts. Politicians, it is these politicians who are making laws. Women cannot decide on certain things because they act on emotion. People get offended when I say women are like children. Women act on mood. They act on emotion now. Feel good. I no longer feel good. They see someone who he looks nice. Tena, we are rational. We apply logic. A woman can leave you after 20 years and say, I'm bored. I can't, because I understand my mission. The next generation, you need to save the world, building roads. So men must take lead. That's what happens in a society when men, they've surrendered their role. They sit back. They allow alphabet community. What society going to have? They allowed women to take over. How many ANC women we've seen posting their pictures, nudity to Nigerians? Well, right now, can I conclude? You see, like now, in 20 years from now, like I said earlier on, a boy child is going to commit suicide because he's going to find out good mama has got sex tape, being banged, being train smashed, because they don't think. There are certain things, people will say, you know what, post your private parts. I said, for what? Because I don't know where this thing's going to land. Because I'm thinking of the future. What if my kids see that? But when they don't, they think in and now. They think, how many relationships have been terminated by women? 70%. I'm divorces. Men are going bananas. They're crazy because us men, we think logical. Look, if I've been good to you, you must be good to me. But it doesn't apply that logic. We apply irrational logic, conventional logic to people who don't apply conventional logic. To people who are going to go to their friends, they say you deserve better, Chomi. Know your worth. Because they compare to social media, to Instagram, what is happening, not knowing what this life is fake. People are toasted. Where have you seen independent women in other nationalities? Beyonce started and say all the single ladies. But you are with Jay-Z. He's with Jay-Z. He says all the single ladies as if being single is a nice thing. Man is a social being. That's why God said it is not good for a man to be alone. They created Eve, but it is only us who glorify this nonsense. All the single ladies, and now people, when they meet partners, women, they don't ask, is he a good father? Is he a God-fearing man? Does he have good qualities? All it's about, money. This is taking me to lunch. And they choose worst of guys. They choose killers. They choose abductors. And then umuntu uyamangala kusasa athi, hey, my baby daddy is useless. And I must step in to that nonsense. That's my baby daddy is useless. Didn't you see him? You saw him because you did not prioritize what is supposed to be prioritized. Many as a guys, when I look at the woman, I know it. This is for the marriage. There are women abaning faka i-triangle ku-square, but I know it ukuthi hayi la umuntu wakhona nje noma nidla kancane kancane phethe phone umuntu wakhona, it's all about likes and all that, ufuna validation. That is nonsense. But men, I blame men. Men, they are the ones who are supposed to shape police. That's why in other cultures, Muslims, in countries that like Afrikaners that practice Christianity, they use the law, they use the Bible, they use economy to control those members of society who cannot be independent, who cannot be trusted by a judgment. And sometimes people are even restricted physically. That's why in Saudi Arabia, people were not driving cars, women. They were not doing certain things. That's why it took years for women to vote in other countries. There was a time in Europe, where they said women are not fully fledged humans, or they, South Africa has never had that because we believed in as Africans, good, there's a mother and a father. Europe came with that patriarchy because they did not trust their women. But now, since we are in this liberty, Yama liberals, we see all this nonsense. We see all this. Even the dating community, they're crying. Even lesbians, they're tired now. I saw one lesbian says, I'm also tired of women. Men are also becoming useless because some of them, they come from single parenthood. They've never seen a father. They don't know what is a father. So we live in that society. But I blame men. The men, they push that. The politicians.
I blame men for single parenthood because a lot of South African men don't take care of their babies. They run away instead of in Mozambique. When I was in Mozambique for a while, I noticed the culture that Mozambican men rather take the baby from the woman and let the woman go wild because they know they can be unstable women. But South African men,
yeah, because
you're not excluded.
I am excluded.
Wow.
Can I continue? And before I continue, I want to say this. And thanks to the mothers of my children, because they've done a good job. And I have managed to select well. And the relationship, it has failed. And there's this thing which is the father ran away. Some of us, they've experienced the worst of the worst. I mean, I've been with women. Some of them cheated on me. What must I do? Some of them, false pregnancies. Sometimes the relationship don't work, not because of me. But as a man, I must take care of the child. I take care of my children. Even now, they phone me daily. I haven't been paid, Mina, since January. But they phone me. I make means. I don't run away. I go to them. I phone them. Magna 2 cents. Before I can meet a Maslay queen. Sometimes I fought. The people that I'm with, maybe I'm with a current woman. Is that your child? Because they don't understand. Good children. Let's go and bafuni school fees. I'll take care of you now. I've been there. I try my best. I get kumntwana no one. Ongathi mina. Ngeke ngathenga igroovy. Ngithenga 2 liters siphuze sonke. Ngathenga full chicken, ngathenga somewhere. Balambile. It can never happen because I've got a conscience. I was raised in a home where there was a mother and a father. My parents couldn't write proper English. NangeSizulu, ubaba makabhala u-A bengathi ubhale ngesagila or wenza isagila no mama ngathi ubhale lento. Ngathi Popeye lase-Disney. Uphi wakhona. So that is that. But you cannot blame us all. They are useless guys, I agree. Guys who cannot handle no rejection because of this soft culture. Yamanje. Guys, they're terminating their lives. Tina, we know, here, I'm not welcome. You move. And you know, with Masek Beta, it is over. There's no permanence in this life. Man, I have dated people who've disrespected me. Disrespected me. I've been a simp now somewhere. That's why I teach these guys. Man, I've been in a relationship where the woman blatantly disrespected me because I laughed. I laughed too much. I don't know how not to laugh. I don't know how not to respond to your text. When you respond immediately, it seems as if you don't have options. If you say, where are you, and say I'm available, it seems as if this guy is too available. You know, I've been taken. You know what, this guy is a loser because my phone is empty. They check my phone, it's empty. Then you are even told when my options. Man, I've been to relationships because women, they listen to their friends. Even when you are making love, the process will stop. You'll take a phone. Can I finish this? And then they'll call the friend, baby, or Chomi. Ike Ike doesn't finish. Must I continue with him? I've been to situations where friends had relationships with my partner, and my partner will take you from them. I've been to situations where I make plans. Next week, my cousin is getting married. Can we go? What do I get? Can my friend come? Can my friend come? And on that day, it's okay, fine. Your friend can come. On that day, the friend said, no, I'm not coming. Even the partner saying, no, I'm not coming because my friend is not coming. Then you wonder, what type of a society and relationship are you going to have? I've been to situations where you compared with the previous because a person now, and I'm a body count, I'm a knee. I compare the shape of your man. Yours is like this, his was like this. I don't want to hear because of the disrespect. The current girls, they're disrespectful. That's why Moses was told by God, would leave la baba ma body count. Actually, banqumi. Tata la baba ma virgin. Because God doesn't want high body count or body count at all. Yes. I'm listening.
Would you like to end the episode?
I'm not ending the episode. I'm continuing.
In terms of the can we go back to the surname equality ruling?
Yes.
Right. So, do you think Uguti is it clashing with the African traditions or cultural things? Because usually, if the man pays lobola, it's known that the woman will take the surname. So with this now, how do you think it's going to complicate things?
Look, culture is not static. It is dynamic. There are so many things that will contribute to a culture. Whether it's bad or good, there's bad culture. There's good culture. We'll see what benefits as we accrue. Surnames are recent. People didn't have surnames back in the days. If Ushaga, Bushaga ga senza ngakona, you're called by your father. I've never heard of a person but Ushaga ga Nandi or the mother. And right now, the Constitutional Court decided that this law is unconstitutional in terms of the Constitution because it says a child must be registered in the father's surname. And there's no lawyer who can win against that. Because the Constitution says, men and women are equal. There is no lawyer who can win against that in the Constitutional Court. So the court has decided. Culture is, yes. I thought you were raising a hand.
No.
Yeah, culture is something aesthetic, like laws. Laws are changed by human beings. As we argue, and then the argument gets into varsities, it becomes, a research, a paper, goes to parliament, and then before you know it, the law has changed. There's a precedent. And in this case, we will see. But in the past, there are men that I know who've taken the double-barrel surname, including the surname of their wives. I've seen men like that. I think it was voluntary, which you can go and register. But now they've made it law in terms of the Marriages and Deaths Act, because it was stipulating, there was a clause that says that you take your father's surname. So that had to be scrapped. And in this case, it will depend on a family. what do they say? You cannot tell two people. If two people saying, you know what, baby, I'm gonna take your family's surname from the matriarchal side, it's two people who are deciding that. I cannot decide for them. And I don't think that the state has so much power. But the sad thing, nje ukuthi, foreigners are going to come and take South African women's surname because they have no pride. They follow umakoti, they follow the woman. Tina, as Africans, if you marry someone, you take that person to your home. But because they've messed up their countries, they're coming here, they're marrying for citizenship. That's why they have no standards. They can marry a woman with 10 kids, different fathers, as long as I'm in South Africa. That's why you see 22-year-olds. They marry abogogo of 79 in Belgium so that I can be a citizen in Belgium. Lo magashona sing right. Or magashona ungshela indlu and they have no pride. I'm foreigners. South Africans have pride. They never left during apartheid. Ikhona lento amahloni ukuthi yazi ngeke ngihambe ngemoto emide. This is my wife's car. The foreigners abaningi, they don't have that. They're so desperate. Their countries nje bayabona with no, I cannot survive here. They come here. But leya surname, it will change a lot of things in our culture because we know that in our culture it has been always patriarchal. And women, they never lost their surnames. Like my mom. My mom unkosi. My father Khumalo. Tina sabo Khumalo, we took our father's surname. But to my mom, in terms of culture, umankosi. Moshada as a woman, you don't lose your surname. Unlike Abisut, I know they call you a firstborn. If your child is Tsep, or Matsep, Tina, maybe the Ngunis, those who originated from the Ngunis, it's always like, you keep your surname. By the way, I'm independent.
People were asking, Uti, what does Ike mean?
Ike, because people like to claim me. Nigerians like to claim me. They think I'm Ike Chuku. I'm not Ike Chuku. My father gave me Ike because my father believed that people follow their names. If they call you Temba or they call you Ntlantla, like they call me Tamsang, and I believe with Lucky has followed me. And some other people, they reshape themselves according to their names. If but to Spusiso, now it's psychological. So Ike, it was a popular name maybe then. Actually not popular because at clinic I'll be the only Ike. People asking me, you can't be Ike, are you Isaac? I'm not Isaac. Ike. Sometimes I keep quiet. People saying Isaac. I was called Ike after Dwight Ike Eisenhower, who was a war general, America, during World War II, who was a hero, and he came back to America, he became a president. Ike, that's why they say, like Ike. And he became a state president. So my father believed or liked that guy. He was a gentleman. Ike was a gentleman. So they called me Ike after that guy, a politician who was a general.
So like Ike, tell us, politician who's a general, what is South Africa going to do with the growing crime? I mean, this year alone, I can't explain how many criminal incidents that a regular South African goes through. I hear about, I experience myself, I see on the news. What is the cause? What's your advice? And what is tomorrow looking like for the South African?
You see, if I were to spell it out like a statesman, I would say South Africans, they must form themselves like we did, Guma Street committees, take charge. Ngimpilo zabo bazigade and babe nama WhatsApp group ukuthi kwenzakalani in the neighborhood. And the South Africans, they must get guns because they come from this culture of the pen is mightier than the sword. If people walked here, they're not going to negotiate. Or if all negotiations fail, what now? Police don't buy pens, but the pen is mightier than the sword. Donald Trump is not buying pens. All other nations, we've seen China parading when Kim Jong-un, no Vladimir.
Oh, that was so beautiful.
No Jinping. They were showing power when they're doing
so beautiful.
When they're doing the military parade. They're showing the world, because you know what? Don't dare us. But Tina, we believe, good, I'm a gentleman, I cannot fight. What you gonna do? You take your woman to Mpumalanga, you get a puncher, criminals come, like they attacked that minister of transport. She was inside the car, they disarm these ninkampoms, ama-security wakhe, because all of them, they're changing it. Akunanwe-one omeso. Yabona ukuthi mathathe abantu base-exile, ubenza ama-security, they can't think. So you need to take care of your neighborhood, and where you can, sue the minister of police if the minister is negligent and is not doing his job, because when blue lights. But after all, they must also vote these guys out of power. And I can tell them amanyama solutions, because Tina, when I was young, when I was 12, 13, it was at that time when the students took over, we said no more gangs in Soweto. I remember go White City, Mongol, Samantringos. We went to all the gangs in Soweto. Abanye bazabathi no thina sama gangs sitshontshela nje imoto edrobheni sithi sinibone entshontshela okushini. Mina even in Pimville, that's why I'm respected. I used to collect these guys abahluphayo. I told them, guys, we don't harass fellow darkies abasokolayo. We are fighting against apartheid. Yeah, Jozi. That's why I was respected. So, Tina, we went. And it was ugly. It was the era ethnic class. Abanye bebabona ukuthi yo kwenzakalani, because Tina, South Africans, we don't punish those who sin against us. People base Nepal, they don't play. People base Sri Lanka, they don't play. People base in the country, I forgot, Kenya, even Kenya. Tina, we worship these guys who sin against us. They can come tomorrow and change party, bese bathi gwaza mkhonto nathi siya join. But suke kusasa bayufoma imayibuye, basuke kusasa bafoma another party, basuke kusasa bathi we are renewing, we join them. But we don't ask them ukuthi where were you until yesterday? It is you who've caused us, because we are fans. Not only then, we are hoping with Nati one day will be the lootist of tomorrow. Maybe that's why we don't want to dismantle the whole system. But South Africans must take charge. The only thing abayaziyo, sometimes I get surprised. Umuntu bambambile, right? This person is a rapist. But tata ithombe ngama phone. Nonsense. Thina bevuke ekseni. Amaphoyisa amafika bathi no, it's members of the community, you don't know who. But in the community, guys, this guy was a rapist. Sometimes we need to show criminals that there are repercussions, there are consequences. Unfortunately, in South Africa, there are no consequences. You can rob people.
I think.
And we are jail, we are going podcast. And then we are hero. Who people, they like that story.
I think the community is one where I don't think this is working.
Yeah, the community, if they're gonna wait, bamilu Ike Khumalo ukuthi benzeni bese bangibopha kusasa bathi ngi-instigator, they know what must be done.
Yeah, I think that one is still working, but I
But
think
in
now
South
the
Africa-
criminals have moved to the suburbs.
Yeah, people in my suburbs, people must secure themselves. You need ukuthi join a WhatsApp group, form security guards.
You just be vigilant.
Like here, when I came here, bebaqhekeza every day, 2 houses at the same time. But we pop out money every month. A job that should be done by the police. Namangilele ebusuku, another thing ukuthi abantu mabavuka kumele ngibeke imbazo, there must be a phanga here. I-security yakho, it's your responsibility. If abantu bangena endlini yakho, they're not gonna ask ukuthi where is the police station. Baqala ngawe. And abantu base South Africa, I don't know ukuthi I understand it way. Thina masithi it's way. I say it's way because wonke umuntu udla inyawo, wonke umuntu ukutshela ngebhakabhaka, wonke umuntu ukutshela ngomkwena, hey umbonile umkwena igold lika makwena, yabo. So South African men, they are weak. South African men, let me say this.
Work on that.
Even in relationship, there was another lady that I knew. I said to her, I will continue to use protection. We tested, she's negative, I was okay. I say no, because I'm not relaxed. I'm okay to be paranoid. Allow me to be paranoid in this relationship because it helps me. Because trusting is too heavy of a burden for me to carry should anything go wrong. Rather, umuntu mbone lapha ungamtrust, athi ukuthi le angithembi, because trusting, and if anything would go wrong, you are in a chaotic situation. So mina ngihlala wild, and I think like a criminal. Maybe ukuthi ngeke ngaba yiyo. I think like a criminal. Mangihleli so ngihleli ukuthi umuntu mangangena la mangidrive imoto, I don't do bumper to bumper nasebusuku. I don't care ukuthi abanye abantu bazongihleka bathi lo ngathi kwala. Ngibeke lapha ya. If you climb out of your car ngiyashayisa baba. Nyaso angeke ngishaye bumper to bumper. If umuntu uyangishayisa ngasemuva ngiyambheka, sengready. Mayicala jumpers angathi Khotman sikushayisile ngiyashifta ngimile emuva ngithi bafethu kwenzakala ngifake ilento isikhwama la ngithi bafethu kwenzakalani. Yabo ngizokushaya konke nebhanji mina. So I've been stopped mina eRisic la. I was taking somebody ngimkhapha suke Soweto because bekune recruitment traffic cop la Ilof. From 2 o'clock people are there, they sleep in the queue. I remember ngaboma 2. I went to drop this person, mangithi ngiyahamba. Yes. Kuvela abantu la. I stopped the car. I was driving in ngaleso sikhathi igosheshi nama 333. I lowered the windows, both windows. I stopped because I'm not gonna run, man. I hate to run. I'm too embarrassed when I run. I've got too much pride. Even as a schooling, I've got too much pride. I can't run. Like I don't like to run from criminals. I'm too proud. I'm too proud to run. Even at school. Nobody. Go and ask people in Pimville. No goes about to TikTok, but when you're Sasha, go and ask guys. I knew dangerous guys. Some of them make it on bus trap. I was everywhere. Beba is good as a now Ike. I'm talking killers, people who are serial killers. But what man kona ngithi mfethu yeke lugwatshisa abantu kanti yini ngawo. Sihleli la ngithi kuyaphuza. I hate to run. That's why even now, even at my older days, I still do push-ups because I know some people they size me, so I'm ready. Angifaki namaphaqa mina mangihamba estradini njengamaSomali because I'm ready. Ready. Nebhande ngiyalifasa. Unlike Americans bakhipha ibundu. Nokubabona kuma TikTok, umuntu wakhona bayamshaya ibhokwe liyawo. Ngihlala ngiready. Ukuthi nje angikwazi ukufaka ama-glove because I'm also paranoid about AIDS. There are situations where I've diffused tensions. Abantu balwa. Sometimes I'm fighting. Mangit, my hands are bleeding. That freaks me out because I'm thinking this monk is bleeding. I'm bleeding. Maybe this monk has been sleeping with prostitutes. His blood went into me. I'm paranoid about that. I'm not gonna be okay with that. But be paranoid. It's okay. Your sense, of security, your sixth sense, it will tell you. Because you know what, I've got a right not to trust you. And people mustn't be offended. I mean, you tell children, which yazin, it takes in magnamadoda i5. Ungangeni. Even an Uber. I mean, I don't want my kids to ride in an Uber. I rather fetch them. If I dicey sometimes talk with I'm far, or maybe I wanna, hey man, get bad. I fight them, mom, which you know what, rather sacrifice. He knows, his sister. I used to fight my sister. Ukuthi landa umntwana UJ ngimlwisa ngithi why do you stay esikoleni until 11 knowing ukuthi awuna transport, the next thing you must go back home. And then the mom will say hayi mina ngina petrol ngithi what is more important ukuthi awuna petrol or ubudgetile. And then the kid usuka UJ campus Auckland Park ufike Soweto makafika Soweto uyawalker to Klipspruit. Knowing good they're criminals. I used to fight, even call the father. No, the father was a deep proof. I will come. Even my mom will go. Don't subject us to that. Because people sometimes they prioritize other things. I mean, safety is very important. That's why even when you're dating me, people will say you're controlling. I cannot understand a woman in a nightclub, a woman ekhapelo ngalesikhathi bahleli and a female friend. I know ukuthi there is no security. Kufika guys babathengela utshwala and we know it. South African women must know it is wrong, but guys, once they buy you alcohol, there's a payback. Uzumuntu athatha utshwala and they know. Once you drink a guy's alcohol, that's a street language. Kuthi no samba nabo. And the women, they like to take. But no, there's these guys, they came, they bought us alcohol, they bought us drinks. How do you know that alcohol is spiked? And you're working, you've got your own money. And they will say you're controlling, you're insecure. I must control. Because you're not in control. To protect you, I must be in control. How do I protect you if I'm not in control? And you're also not in control of yourself because you're everywhere. So... But you must be judgmental. It helps. I mean, I'm judgmental. I don't trust anyone. I met many women, even in my relations with them. There is no woman I've never tested. Nabona noma ngaya ngale kunama testing kit ayi2. Sometimes ukuthi anginamali. Clicks, test, check, next week's a test foot. Should be there in an accident. I want to relax. I read a lot of documents. I don't want to be stressing. And I cannot live on PrEP. I don't know what is the ramifications of using PrEP, but I want to be sure, especially if you're not in a stable relationship, you must be sure. If you are in a dangerous area, be sure where you are. But guys, they are not equipped for that. So, Tina, the old school, we are equipped for that. That's why we can handle our situations, we can handle rejection, we can handle the situation. I mean, I've survived many situations. As in, ngishit last la, bafethu awuthi nge-toilet gone. Sasekuseni mangibuya. Uzabathi mfethu, mawuceda ukusuka la, uScotch bamshayile. Ngithi futhi bekaloku angisokolisa man. Kunini ngimkhuza. You must be able to maneuver, ube streetwise. The book won't save you. Tina went to apply a textbook where it doesn't apply. There are certain things. We're complaining with the police. When even amaphoyisa lapha ehamba kuma-Pakistan ihlisa ama-keep. When I'm out to report about there are no cars, what must happen? It's you who are facing this criminal. You know where he stays. Siyazana makazi, thina besazana. Noma ulahlekelwe imoto yazi ukuthi ngizothola kusibani bani. So criminals, they need to understand ukuthi there's a consequence. And kube itswe one pattern. Asishaye leyo nto. We don't punish people who are doing wrong, which is sad. So I don't know. I think I've covered lots of things. I
wanted to ask if you've watched the Thabo Bester and Nandipha's court proceedings, and what do you think of that regarding the Netflix documentary?
I think I watched for a small amount of time because actually the situation got Nandipha no Bester, it irritates me. Yeah, each time I try to watch it irritates me. Even the first time when Nandipha was smiling to this guy, it irritates me. There are certain things that they trigger me. Let me say this. As a comrade in the high school, there were situations where we had to go to a jack roller because they've raped umntwana esikolo. Or sometimes kunomntana esikolo uthe mana ama-gangster ayangihlupha and we are fighting these guys, but only to find ukuthi ujola nabo. When you've apprehended the gang leader, she's the one who says, no, he's my boyfriend. Or no, me again. It's like the Stockholm syndrome. It irritates me. I don't understand it. When someone saying fallen in love with a rapist. I remember one lady. We were fighting this group. Yabutsotsi. Japan in those days. We were fighting them. They were notorious then. So this other one, which bamthathe ngelento ngenkani. I think we were Puzabonk and all that. But she was describing to her friends. I was sitting next to them. How pleasurable it was. That train smashing, gangbanging with you, these guys. I was annoyed. Because here we are. We are fighting these guys. They are raping school kids. And when now you are praising them. It's like saying back raping Amnandi. That's why I cannot understand Maya Angelou. I read the book of Maya Angelou. When she said at 5, the stepfather abused her. The way she described the scene, it is in beautiful, romantic, glorious term. I said, but this is rape. She says, I was 5. He made me touch his manhood. It was warm, nice. As he entered, that irritated the hell out of me. Because I understand one language. Rapist, punishment, death sentence. Rapist, death sentence. So when you come in between, I have no in between. I have no gray area. So it happens, So the story is Nandipha, I don't understand it. She had a good man. Women, sometimes they like danger. Women, they like to dance in the face of the lions. No much of cause. From a vets, but because one another this guy, she had a good husband. Imagine the embarrassment faced by the husband. The husband who serves this bed. But Dr. Makutumane, they want you in theater. Magadlula when yes, but you in the kiene, you kisono jwang, mushebe. Nabo kiene, muna Nandipha, kiene. The embarrassment. That's why amanyama culture bo Muslim. Kunento abathini mercy killing. Is it mercy killing? It has something no honor. It is honor. They call it. Do you know honor killing? The Muslims, hardcore Muslims, if you embarrass them as a family, the brother and the father, they must take it upon them. Because you are embarrassing them. So they cannot stand that. So Nandipha is embarrassing the father, embarrassing the family, embarrassing the children who are going to grow up tomorrow. That's why I'm saying the future boy child, because as boys, Tina, we see our mothers as
Even
God. No,
girls.
girls sometimes can be useless. I'm telling you. Let me tell you this. Girls, I've seen mothers. Bayojola nabontwana babo. Tina, as boys, your mother is God. There are people who cannot cheat, therefore. Your mother, your sister, your daughter, and your wife. Those people cannot embarrass you. I mean, I've seen abo mama. Umama umntwana ulele ngale ne-boyfriend na ulele ngapha nge-boyfriend. As a father ngeke, mina bongeke mfethu. Ubaba wala anganamoto, abona imoto egeyidini. Labo baba bethu bakudala. Athi ubani wale moto ayisuke egeyidini. Asho anganamoto, ayisuke egeyidini. And you'll never introduce a boyfriend to a father. Unless no munteka lobolile, because what are you going to do? You're going to introduce how many boys now? 10 boys. You introduce John to your father, you introduce, maybe white people do that, but Tina, as black people, you cannot introduce Bongani with, Dad, this is my boyfriend, and another one. All these guys, as a father, you're saying, now you smash. Good, you're counting body count now. You're counting bodies. A father knew ukuthi umntanami has never been touched. That's why baba abaningi baba negotiate. They negotiate lobolo as if umntana say it's like she's a virgin because she's never seen any other guy. Even if the woman is no longer, a virgin. But now if the father has seen Job, before you are 30, he has seen 7 of your boyfriends, you don't respect your father. That's disrespect, but it is the norm today. The disrespect, it is so blatant, it is so obvious. That's why these boys, they're killing themselves because they cannot handle it. Tina, we are traditional, but the people that we are with, they are not traditional. They have gone rogue. You don't understand them. The more you show them, you care, the more they'll disrespect you further. And apparently, the one who's being rewarded is the one who don't care, the bad boy, the one who, So that's what Nandipha they are doing. They're rewarding the killer of something that is so illogical. Tina, we are logical. So in the baga best, you terminate your career. And Nandipha's kids, they're gonna grow up tomorrow. They're gonna be told, your mom. How are they gonna handle it? Zoto wabantu's child. He's a boy child. Makakula labazomtshela your mom.
We don't judge.
We judge. We live in a world that is judgmental. People, but you don't judge me. Our CVs, when you write a CV, that's why you cannot put a bad record. You put your colorful careers. I've been here. Because we live in a judgmental world. Umntana kalento. Kanyimbawu is bragging about anal sex. What are you telling your kids? We judge. That's why when you go to interview, you take your best outfit because you want to present yourself, as a good citizen. You put your best foot forward. We judgmental. We judge you. If I see a person selling cars, but you're wearing skimpy things, I wonder, are you a prostitute or what? That's why you don't find soldiers wearing lingerie. You dress according to your job. We judge you according to how you present yourself. If I go to church, dress like a whore, what am I saying? The people who's going to approach me, they're not going to buy fat cakes. If I see you're half naked, I see your nipples, I'm approaching you. I'm not going to ask how much is the price of BMW. I'm asking how much is the price of that I see. So that is that. But anyway, I'm closing. There's a person who's phoning me. Yeah. So, but other than that, that is that for today. Yeah, and as they normally say, you can follow, subscribe, comment, like. What's the other one?
No, you said.
And share. Yes. So, as usual, life with Ike Khumalo. Peace and out. Yeah.